Hi, my name is Coach Mick with the Real Tennis Network, and we're sitting here with Connie Chiehyu from Philadelphia at the Dow Corning Tennis Classic, a $100,000 USTA Pro Circuit event. And we just want to thank Connie for coming here to the 25th anniversary of the Dow Corning Tennis Classic. And we're sitting right here on Stadium Court, which will be happening here at about 7 o'clock tonight, so we're lucky enough to be down here. But I just want to say thanks for coming, Connie, and how's it going so far?
It's been a pleasure to be here. The tournament's been really fun, and I'm still in doubles, so it's good.
Now, what we're trying to accomplish in this interview for the Real Tennis Network is we'd like to get you a chance to know Connie as a person and a player and learn about her experiences on and off the tennis court. And you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this interview because you're going to see that the pros face some of the same struggles that you or any recreational player might face on the tennis court. And the great thing about talking to Connie here is she's going to tell you how she may overcome some of the obstacles that you face on the tennis court. So to give our listeners a chance to get to know you a little bit better, all right, can you tell us how old you were when you started playing, where you started playing, and what did you do to kind of get to where you are today?
I started playing when I was 5 years old. That was when I was in Taiwan, and I moved to the US when I was 9 years old. I played a lot, played a lot of juniors, played a lot of ITFs, and I also played college tennis. And after a year of that, here I am playing the pro circuits.
That's awesome. Now, where did you play college tennis?
I played for University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, can you tell us what is your proudest moment as a tennis player to this date?
I'm not sure. I guess it was last year when I won my first round in a WTA event in New Haven. After beating her, and it was like just the atmosphere, everybody cheering for me and stuff like that. It was amazing experience.
And I bet that's the feeling that every young tennis player out here just wants to accomplish, is the feeling that you had right there. Now, when did you decide that you wanted to make a career out of playing tennis?
Well, I've always wanted to be a professional tennis player, but because of financial troubles, I wasn't able to. That's why I went to college. And after a year, I actually had a family friend that helped me for a little bit. So that was the reason why I turned pro. So.
What are some of the things when you're on tour? I mean, it's not what everybody thinks, where it's just a big dinner every night and people are following you, wanting your autograph here and there. And, I'm sure there's lots of things that you like about playing on the pro tour, but there's lots of struggles as well. So can you just give us some ideas of what you like about playing on the pro tour and some of the struggles that you face on a daily basis?
What I liked about playing on the pro tour is just being able to travel and just meet a bunch of great people, and but it's not that glamorous as you might think. You have to just for me, because of financial problems, I have to drive everywhere, or it's the drive is probably 20 hours or something. It's really hard, and yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness for Pandora now, so you don't have to make a big mixtape for your car, right?
That's right.
Now, what does a junior, I know there's a lot of juniors who are going to be listening to this as well, and one of the questions that they always have is, what does it take for me? Every junior, if I ask them in my classes that I teach right now, if I say, show me some hands of who wants to be a professional tennis player, 19 out of 20 of those kids are going to raise their hand. And we know in reality that that's not the case. We're not going to have that high of a percentage on the pro tour. But what does it really take for a junior right now to get into their mind, here's what I need to do to prepare to play professional tennis if that's my dream?
Yeah, if that's your dream, then just know that you have to work 100% every day, for 4 hours a day, to and you gotta like stay positive, even though you might start out losing all the time, but just stay positive and keep working hard. I think that's yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you can see, that the players, that when the cream rises to the top, that's the one common denominator you hear out of those players is, I didn't do this with my friends. I decided to play tennis instead, and you had to make a lot of choices, I'm sure, between tennis and hanging out with your buddies, right?
Yeah, that's right. You have to sacrifice a lot of your time, and yeah, you definitely can't hang out with your friends as much, that's for sure, yeah.
So when you're playing a tournament like this and you step out on the court, okay, and you're out here, this is a big $100,000 event, fantastic venue here, and what are some of the things that go through your mind prior to competing?
I always tell myself to, no matter what happens on the court, you have to stay positive and stay focused. Just focus on your techniques, not think too much about anything else. That's all.
So how much, when you're on court playing a tournament, do you focus on technique versus focusing on maybe the player that you've scouted or tactics in the match? I mean, what percentage would you say when you're out here is technique? What percentage is tactics? And maybe what percentage is mental, if that's not too long of a question?
I usually just focus more on my technique, because if I think too much on what to do with about what to do with a shot or something, I usually lose my focus or blank out a little bit. So that's what I do. But every player is different.
So that helps you stay focused. So what would be one thing in this tournament, when you played your last match, that you came out, before you came out on court, you said, all right, I'm going to do this on this particular stroke?
Yeah, for returns, definitely. I tell myself I have to shorten my backswing and hit through, and yeah, that's about, yeah.
Now, although that's great, that's great. Now, as coaches, it's funny because you're playing doubles still, right?
Yes, I play tomorrow. Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now, as a coach, we're always telling our women or juniors that we coach, get to the net, get to the net. The team that gets to the net first wins 80% of the points. And, I've kept track of that stuff in classes, and it's true. But when you watch professional tennis on TV, you see a lot of teams playing one up and one back still. And so what do you think the reason for that is, or why is that in your mind?
Yeah, definitely a lot of teams still play one up, one back. I feel like it's because the ground strokes are so hard, it's hard to get inside the court. And a lot of the doubles teams rely on the net players to cross over to win the point and stuff like that. So.
And as a doubles player, there's lots of different formations as coaches that we teach. We teach the one up and one back, and we try to say that's the worst formation, but we don't see that all the time. There's two up, there's I formation, there's Australian. What do you and your partner like to use on the doubles court, and when do you decide to make changes on that?
We usually do one up, one back. It's not really that bad, but it really depends on your partner and see what she's comfortable with. So right now we're usually one up, one back, but there's always if something doesn't work, we definitely have to use the I formation or the Australian, and yeah.
That's great. Now, when you're playing doubles, how important is it for you to communicate with your partner? Do you do it after every point? Do you do it before and after every game on the changeover? How often do you actually communicate with your partner, and how important is that in professional tennis?
Yeah, it's definitely important. We do it after every point. We have to talk about where we're going to serve and what we're going to do, and then actually encouraging each other is very important too.
So when you go out on the tennis court, whether you're playing singles or you're playing doubles, would you say, and this is just for my listeners here, because when we coach or we teach players at, in groups or whatever, we're going over lots of different things. And we hear a lot, Mick, you've got me thinking about so many things out here. I'm thinking about this and that. And I'm sure you get that too from your coach. But when you walk out on the tennis court, how many things do you try to stay focused on per match, or do you put them in order of importance, or how do you do it?
Yeah, that happens to me a lot, and I just try to actually not think about those things. only pick a few important ones, like because I usually have a tendency to hit balls late, and so I try to tell myself to shorten my backswing and just move fast, that kind of thing.
That's fantastic. And one tip for doubles players, when you walk out there with your partner, there's got to be a couple key things that before you even start the match that you might say something like, okay, get our first serve in or this or that. What are some things that you guys go over prior to the match?
Yeah, it actually depends on our opponents too. Like sometimes, like today, we knew the girl had a one-handed backhand, so we were like, we're definitely serving to her backhand, and just like also on returns, their second serves are a little bit slower, so we told each other to move up and attack the second serve, that kind of.
Oh, that's great. Now our listeners are going to love this. So, what could you give me 3 things that would help our listeners in regards to them taking their tennis to the next level? 3 things or 2 things that you would think would be important if someone wanted to take their tennis to the next level.
Definitely just practice a lot of serves, because it's definitely one of the most important things. Like for me too, whenever I serve well, I always win the matches, so that's one of the things. And also work on just your movements, because you have to move really well like the whole time, so definitely your fitness has to be really good, and I guess, and mental, just have like a strong mental, just be like really positive and not give up on on the balls and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, you've made me excited to get back out on the court again and stop teaching so much and getting out there and playing. I'm so excited to watch you play tomorrow. Now, where are you headed to after Midland?
Originally, I was supposed to play a WTA event in Doha, but I can't make it there in time. So right now, I'm going to a 25,000 event in California.
All right, and if people want to follow you online, now for the Real Tennis Network, we are going to be following Connie on the tour and hopefully giving her a call every 6 weeks or so and find out how she's doing and cheering her on. But how can they get a hold of you, or if they want to just learn more about you online, like right now, where can they go to learn more about you?
You can just go to my Facebook page. Type in Connie Hsu, and you can find me there.
And how do you spell Hsu?
HSU.
Just like it sounds, right? So anyway, Connie, I just want to say thank you so much for spending time with us on the Real Tennis Network, and we're just so excited to watch you play tomorrow, and we just wish you luck on the rest of your tennis going on in 2013, and hopefully we can continue this relationship and keep an eye on you and learn more about you and just learn more about who you are and bring our games to the next level because of what you do. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.